It's actually a bit more than anticipation, Becky, because companies are already reacting to the imposition, the formal imposition of those tariffs in the beginning of November. You're seeing companies already pull back from buying Iranian crude oil. Countries, Japan, South Korea, already this month going to zero. Some of the international big players like Trafigura, Vitol, also pulling back because they don't want to risk any wrath of the U.S. Biggest shocker this week, though, was China's UNIPEC saying that they were going to cut their Iranian purchases in half this month. Now, when we were all sort of doing the math on how much oil will be lost to the market by companies and countries refusing to buy Iranian oil, we were counting on for a lower price for China and India
picking up some of the
right. If not even buy less, but buy more potentially to get some cheap barrels and just help out Iran.
Why do you think China would buy more of that? Is that a way of kind of punishing the U.S., saying, okay, you're going to continue to see higher oil prices?
It's certainly a tactic and a lever for them in the trade battle. But also, too, the Iranians are going to be forced to discount whatever barrels they can sell. So it's a good deal for them. It'll be a good deal for India, too, if they can sort of maneuver their way around the U.S. sanctions. But they also don't want to risk the wrath of President Trump either.
Okay, this is more complicated than a buy on the rumor, sell on the news, since, as you just pointed out, this is already happening. But it could have the same impact if all of the maneuvering is already taking place, and then you're going to see China potentially buy once Iran actually agrees to lower prices. Couldn't it have the same impact on prices?
Yeah, so there's sort of a fever building in the market right now about what the landscape's going to look like in terms of supply and demand. And we are going into the northern hemisphere winter is the peak demand season for the globe. Okay, we talk a lot about summer driving demand here for gasoline, but this is the crunch period. What we're trying to look through is how much oil is Iran still able to sell? Are they successful at all in circumventing the sanctions? And then, two, as we start to look into 2019, how much more oil is coming out of the Permian? How much more oil is the Russians able to put out? And the big question, of course, does Saudi Arabia come through in a big way or not for the market?
What do you think the answer is?
I think the answer for Saudi Arabia is that they're going to make us sweat it out first. I think you'll see a WTI price upwards of 80 to 85. I don't think we're going to get to 100. I don't think there's going to be any kind of a crisis or big problem. I think the Saudis will ultimately step up, but they're going to be stingy at first.
You're talking about maybe through the end of the year?
Through the end of the year. It's going to be a rough winter for consumers at the gas pump, at the heating oil tank, the airlines, everybody.
So then what happens?
Then I think in 2019 we should trend lower. We'll get that sort of seasonal drop-off in demand that we always get. Some of these other factors that I just referenced, more Russian production, more U.S. production, more U.S. Exports, more U.S. Liberation of those Permian barrels, for example, getting to the global market.